I'm Brody Vinson, and you're watching Profession Session. My guest today is returning to give some major updates on his company. His name is Brian Collins, and he's the founder of Dry Pocket Apparel, America's first and only true source of waterproof pockets.
Yep. I went snorkeling for 2 hours with my cell phone in my pocket, and it stayed completely dry.
Back in 2016, he started this company while working full-time and has bootstrapped it up to the point of having made a Shark Tank-like deal with a billionaire investor that's allowed him to pursue his dream full-time and take major swings and make major headway.
Within the past 4 months, I've quit my job. I've gone full-time. It's like I'm on fire all the time, 24/7. My level of happiness is way better, consistent. It's just a dream come true.
Now they've sold in every state in the U.S. and they have affiliates, partnerships, distribution centers, factories, physical and online retailer partners, and all kinds of stuff going on. And they're even breaking into international markets.
We've been able to pick up, I think this is 20 or 21 retailers in 3 states. We've got Canadian distributor now with inventory in Canada, or we're talking with a company in Australia. They want to bring our products down there too. So yeah, it's definitely going in the right direction.
Watch the whole thing for an emotional journey into the deep driving force behind Brian's success and the many things that he's learned that have shaped his journey along the way.
We spent like $17,000 with the marketing agency our very first year. They did not make the return. They were like, well, we generated this much revenue, but our profit was ate up. So it was like, it doesn't matter.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Profession Session. I'm Brody Vinson, and I'm on a mission not only to define professional greatness through the tactics and qualities behind it, but also to help anyone that's trying to achieve professional greatness do it through the lens of others that have achieved it before them. I couldn't be more thankful for everyone that helps me continue along this mission through being able to do this podcast. And if you've ever gotten any value out of it, I ask only 2 things in return. If you could share it in the same way that you found it with someone else that you think could get value, it helps me so much. And if you could also just hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, it helps me so much in just securing better and better guests for the show to share more impactful knowledge with you in this pursuit that we're both on for professional greatness. So without further ado, let's get on to this week's episode. What were you in town for? I kind of just found out you were in town yesterday. We're here in Orlando. The last one we did in Jacksonville, and I know you live up a little closer to there. Yep. But you were in town here kind of like promoting the brand, doing like an expo or something.
Yeah. Perfect timing, which just worked out. So there's a trade show called ICAST, and it's the largest geared towards fishing trade show in America, and they have it once a year down in Orlando. And my company with the waterproof pocket fishing shorts, which we have, did I have those last time, or was it just the swim shorts?
I think you had just come out with those.
Okay, yeah. So those have taken off. So they're fishing shorts with the waterproof pocket, and it's obviously geared in the fishing market. Mm-hmm. So I went down to the trade show just to meet with some people, network, meet with an agency that's interested in picking us up. They have 10 salesmen in 10 states. I'm one person, so it could be very beneficial. Met with an influencer, and I also picked up, shout out to Florida Sport Fishing Magazine and TV Media. They are a new retailer of ours selling our dry bags on their website. Awesome. And I also met with, shout out to Salt Strong. They also picked us up and selling our products on their website as well. So that's why I was down here.
So I think this is a good segue too to talk about just all the different partnerships you have now. I think when we talked last, you were hoping to get into some retail stores, and I think that's drastically changed.
Yeah. And we still have a long ways to go, but not tooting my horn, but just to put out the timeline here is within the past 4 months, I've quit my job. I've gone full time.
Congrats on that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's literally like living the dream. I mean, it's work, it's hustle all the time,
that's the work you want to be doing.
I'm enjoying it. Like I love it. Yeah. Like I wake up, you know how it is, and not knocking working for people because I've worked for people for a very long time and I've had really good jobs, but it's different. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I wake up going to sell Caterpillar tractors or going to sell the pumps and compressors I used to sell, and it's just like, that's great, and I'm blessed to have the job, but I don't wake up like, woohoo!
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not like, let's get it, So with this, though, it's like I'm on fire all the time, 24/7. My level of happiness is way better, consistent. It's just a dream come true.
That's awesome.
But to tie back into what your question was about the retailers and whatnot, within the past 4 months, we've been able to pick up right at 20. I think it's either 20 or 21 retailers in 3 states. With and mixed. Some of them are online, like the Florida Sport Fishing and Salt Strong, and then the rest are physically in their stores, in their shops. And then we've got a Canadian distributor now with inventory in Canada. And I'll actually be doing a sales blitz up there come August, helping them out. They've got some people helping out. They've already got 3 or 4 retailers set up now too. Nice. And then we also are talking with a company in Australia. They want to bring our products down there too. So yeah, it's definitely going in the right direction.
It's moving fast. So how does a sales blitz look? Like when you gear up for that and you go up there to do that, how's that going to look?
It's going to be fun, man. So one, I'm in Canada, right?
Are you taking the van up?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Oh no.
That would be a long drive.
No.
That would be a really long drive.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have to fly on that one. So there's actually I have to make a pit stop before I go to Canada, and I'll lead into what's going to happen in Canada. So this is a cool story. So a friend of mine married into the Coors family, Coors Brewery.
Oh, wow.
The Coors family in Colorado.
Okay.
And I went to high school with her. So we're friends, and she follows us and all that, and she's bought some products for her husband, and they love it. Nice. They just gave one of the dry bags as a gift to one of the granddads or one of the family members that's been around a while, within the Coors industry, so they invited me to come up there and like film a commercial on the ranch in Colorado on the Colorado River.
That is awesome.
Like a fly fishing commercial, and then I'm going to try to see if there's some kind of promotional interest that we can work our way into, but all of them have loved the products. So the reason why I'm saying that is on the way to Canada, I'm pit stopping in Denver, driving 2 hours to their farm, ranch, whatever they call it, and do my thing, and hopefully it works out and turns into something else. The worst case scenario, I get to go out to Colorado and go fly fishing on the Colorado River and film a commercial. Yeah, it's fun.
Not a bad deal.
No, not at all. Free place to stay, and then from there going into Canada. And so to tie that into the sales blitz, they have a couple different salesmen that are going to be pushing the products. Nice. I just want to go up there, go over all the products with them, preach to them all the different type of like features that is what makes the sale. You can't go in there saying waterproof shorts. It's not it's waterproof pocket. It's totally different thing. It's a totally, because there's quick dry waterproof, but waterproof.
There's
pocket.
Waterproof shorts out there, but the big feature, the selling feature is that you can put stuff in your pockets and it stays dry.
Yep. I went snorkeling for 2 hours with my cell phone in my pocket and it stayed completely dry.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but so the blitz will be, I'll be riding with them. They'll pick out like strategic accounts they want to go after. Then they'll have me come in, and then I'll go meet with them. And it's not a way of tooting my horn like I'm the best salesman. It's just
the product baby, inside and out.
I've been with this from day one. So my passion ties back into what we were saying about having a job versus having the company. My passion sells this. A normal salesman, I don't know. They may not have that passion, and why would they if they didn't build it? Yeah. They may be excited for the products, but there's still a different level there. Like nobody can push it like the founder of the company who's in love with it. Yeah. And that's like in anything in life, right? You know what I mean? The more you feel for it, the more emotion you have behind it, the more you're probably going to push it.
So here's a deep question. To grow a company, you've got to like get buy-in from everyone like in the company. You got to bring on new people. How do you think you diffuse that passion and like create that in the entire company? Okay, so I'm lucky that I'm a passive individual, meaning that I can tolerate all types of personalities. So you have, and I'm not some personality expert. I'm not some sales expert. I'm just a kid with not a kid, but I'm 37. But I'm just a guy with a passion that built this and never quit and stayed dedicated and consistent. But in terms of my partners, because there's a couple people that are alpha mentality, rightfully so. They've built some tremendous things. But I've learned that if you're passive, you're more likely to tolerate everybody and have less confrontation, as long as you don't allow someone to take advantage of you. So being passive can be very good for terms of fitting in where you need to fit in and being who you need to be when you need to be it. But it could also be very bad because sometimes you can be taken advantage of because you're so passive that you won't stand up for yourself. How do you strike that balance?
I just learned to say, no.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because I used to be taken advantage of, like before Dry Pocket and all, just growing up, because I've always been passive and like I want to be friends with everybody, you know, and I've learned now that I can use passiveness as a tool to get further in life and make connections without pissing people off.
And also without getting taken advantage
without
of.
taking advantage of. So it's like a strategy. It's like really I know my end goal with my individual. So like for an example, these agencies, I know what I want out of them and I know what they're preaching to me. And it sounds all beautiful, but I don't need them. Like I was telling you before this, I don't need anybody for that. Like, and that's just the mentality I have to keep me like strong.
Yeah.
You know, now
keep you saying
realistically,
no to the wrong
I do
things.
need people, right? I mean, not one person in any company in the entire world can do it all by himself.
Yeah.
You know, but the mentality of saying I don't need anybody keeps me strong and doesn't let people take advantage of me. But I'm passive, so it's not like I'm like, I don't need anybody. You know what I mean? I'm just a passive, friendly guy.
You're just like, if it works out, it works out.
Yeah.
If not, there's other opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I hit that.
Oh, no, you're good. I think that mentality keeps you with a clearer head. It keeps you like approaching things from the perspective of, if this is like the right kind of deal for the company, then I'll take it and I'll go with it. If not, then hey, there's other stuff on the table.
Yeah, and I had to get to that, you know, because I used to be an impulse type person, like most people are, you know, and I used to would get worked up really quick if I got stressed out, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's got to get done now. It's got to be fixed now. Slow down.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, nothing needs to be fixed that minute, you know, so slow down, and that kind of taught me a little bit more on how to deal with things, how to like, because you know how it is. It's like even getting in a fight with a relationship, right? If you react right away, you're probably saying things you shouldn't be saying, right? Or
versus
with
if
the
you
tone.
go walk away for a second, come back with a clear head.
Yeah,
you can do way
it's
better.
the exact same thing, and that's in terms of the partners. That's in terms of the retailers. That's in terms with just any of customers online that email us, or if you have a disgruntled customer, you dang sure don't want to like fire back at them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, they say this has become such a cliche at this point, but it's that way because it's true. I think that you need to be making decisions logically in business and not emotionally. And I think when people react right off the cuff, like without giving some time to think about something, that's when you make emotional decisions rather than logical ones. If you take a step back and just think about it, you can approach it, make the logical decision that kind of works out best for everyone.
yeah, exactly. And so you hear people, this is off topic of Dry Pocket, but just in business in general with my experience, you know, is you hear people talk about like, there's no room for emotion in business. Well, dude, if you don't have emotion in business, there won't be a business, because you would have no motivation or drive, because you have no passion or pride to push it and give your time to it. So it's like there's a median in it. You know what I mean? Like, of course there's going to be emotion in business, especially if you're the one building it, you know, but I get the no emotion side if it's just another company buying it outright and then hiring people to run it. Well, they may not have the emotion. They're just seeing a business deal. But
if you get rid of that emotion, I think that's where companies kind of lose what got them going in the first place. If they grow the wrong way, then all of a sudden it's not the same thing it was before.
Yeah,
so you do have to keep that.
You come across as arrogant too if you're not passionate about it. You come across as like cold in a way, like, you know, startup companies usually form good relationships and reputations with their clients, customers, whatever the case may be, and you never want to lose touch with that. Exactly. In my opinion, right? So once you do, then you may lose support. You may not. I mean, you know, there's companies out there, and I'm not going to name certain ones, but there's companies out there that become billion-dollar companies, and they don't really have that loving support, but for some reason they're still buying their products. You know, maybe it's a great product, but my point is you can get by without it, but us as Dry Pocket, we are a small startup company that's growing really fast, and we will like maintain that ground level type mentality. As long as I'm here anyways, we will maintain that ground level type mentality, that connection with our clients. Will care, you know, not just numbers, so to speak.
Why do you think you've been able to grow so fast? I know there's probably
so
many reasons. But
well, I mean, yeah, there's so many reasons, but I mean, listen, I'm a good salesman. I've been in sales for 15 years selling, you know, industrial equipment, pumps, compressors, blowers, packages, et cetera, nitrogen, all sorts of stuff, right? But like, and yeah, I know how to sell, but I mean, it's also what you're selling too.
Yeah.
You hear, what is that what's that, Wolf of Wall Street, where he's talking about sell me this pen?
Yeah.
I mean, so there's sales to it, right? But my product also sells. Like, I have the United States' first and only waterproof pocket bathing suits and fishing shorts tested up to 100 feet. Like I said earlier, I put my phone in my pocket and went snorkeling for 2 hours just testing it, and it stayed completely dry.
Yeah.
I had a diver take it 40 feet down, like a piece of paper towel, not his phone. Why would you need your phone 40 feet down? But it took a piece of paper towel just to test it 40 feet down in the ocean, stayed around for however long, and then however long it took them to come back up with decompression and whatnot, completely dry. So that sells too. The biggest hurdle we had, though, was getting over the hurdle of skepticism. Does it work? Because nobody's ever seen it before.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever heard of that before. You're putting a $1,000 phone in your pocket, or I mean, it's not just for phone, wallet, keys. If you do tobacco, can of dip, whatever the case may be, that you just want it to be dry, right? But we've beat that hurdle now, thankfully.
Nice.
So we beat that hurdle. Now the sales are really coming in. Now we get like our reorders, our returning customers are skyrocketing because it actually works, So we had to defeat that, but we're past that now, thankfully. So a lot of that has to do with the products being sold, and why we've grown. So.
Customers are returning and probably also telling people about it, like left and right, and then the word of mouth just grows.
The word of mouth is still very powerful. I mean, that's very powerful.
I think this is such an important point in business in general, is that this is something I've been thinking about a lot recently with starting my new business, is like the more time you put into making an incredible product, the more it just markets itself.
Yeah.
It kind of does the work for you.
Yeah. And it never stops though. Like that's the thing. So like in my experience, there's so much stuff on the back end. It's like I'm never caught up.
Yeah.
Last week, I think it was Thursday, I put a to-do list. It was like 27 things that had to be done, but it's never ending. Like you knock 5 of them off, 2 more are put back on there from another. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a revolving door. People don't see that, but that's where you get like administrators, people to help with that kind of stuff. We're just, in my opinion, we're not there yet to do all that. I mean, I guess technically we could, but I'm still able to maintain what we're doing now. So why bring in the extra cost if I'm still floating? You know what I mean? Now, eventually, of course, like I was going back to earlier, one person can't do it all forever.
I think eventually I've talked to a lot of business owners about this, like this very thing, kind of finding that balance and like when it's time to bring people on like that. And I think it's really just like when you hit a breaking point. Yeah. More than anything. It's like you get to the point where that to-do list is not only never ending, but it never stops growing, and you just cannot manage it. And it's like when things start falling through the cracks that are important. Yeah.
It kind of ties in. I just remembered about one of our last conversations. We were talking about how like you don't want to bring on the expenses too soon, because then you can go belly up too quick. This ties into that, because like a lot of people will say, well, you need professionals immediately. No, now if you got the bankroll, sure. But if you were like me, who didn't come from much and didn't have all that, well, now we do because of the Shark Tank deal. We can get into all that. But, I mean, not Shark Tank, sorry, but something similar to Shark Tank. Yeah. Don't want that to, what I mean? So, but anyways, I learned that it's all about your bandwidth on whatever you can tolerate. And if you can tolerate and absorb that pressure and that stress and that time management to get things done, then you need to do it yourself starting out. Because there's no reason to just up your cost for no reason, just because you want to be lazy or make excuses. I can't do this. I don't have time for this. Yeah. Do you really not have time for this? Are you still sleeping 10 hours a day? Do you need 10 hours a day? Are you still waking? You know what I mean? There's all sorts of things. Are you working out for 2.5 hours in the middle of the afternoon? Yeah. Well, where are your priorities? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not knocking if someone's doing that. I'm just saying, for my personal experience, I was able and still able to withstand what's going on, everything, even with the growth, and I'm still managing it all. So why would I just hire it out? When some people say you should have did it a long time ago. Well, look where we're at now. You know what I'm saying? So my whole point is, if you can take it, do it yourself. If you don't know how to do it yourself, learn how to do it yourself. Save that cost until you actually are at the point where you can afford the cost, or you're at the point to where you really do need an expert for the next level. You know what I'm saying? So and it's different for everybody. And it's
this is an Elon Musk principle too. His whole thing is first principles. So when he starts a new company or like takes over a new company, he tries to get in at the ground level and learn how everything works at the lowest levels first, so that he actually understands whether something's working well or not and how to actually delegate it.
Instead of just listening to people telling him what's working.
Exactly.
Because here's another thing too. Let's just use marketing agencies, because that's who I deal with. I've got Varnes Media. Shout out to Varnes Media. They're awesome, by the way. Andy's amazing. But like before Varnes Media, I've had maybe 200, 300 over the past couple of years reach out to me via email, messages through our live chat, all sorts of, because they're always hunting, right? They're looking for new clients. Well, here's the thing. They're trying to sell you. Yeah. So they're going to preach to you, you need this, you need that, you need this. There's no way you can do it without that. And it's like, dude, they're just doing the same thing I'm doing, except I'm selling waterproof pockets and they're selling their services. So you can't fall into those traps, like until you're ready, or until and everybody may be ready at different times. I mean, it's every situation's different too.
I think when you're ready, it's not going to be like someone. It's not necessarily going to be someone hunting you out and telling you need something and you saying, oh, yeah, I do need it. I think it's going to be you deciding you need something and you go out and find it.
Well, what happens is, and everything I'm saying is only my personal experience, not everybody's. Every situation's different. Every business is different. But what I learned is if I'm not an expert in this and somebody's telling me I need all these things, well, then I start thinking, oh, maybe he's right. Maybe I do need all these things. And maybe you don't. You're just getting... You don't know, so now you're getting influenced to think you do. That only costs you $4,000 a month, though, plus ad spend. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, hold on now. I could also sit back and watch 3 hours worth of YouTube videos and know how to run all my ads strategically. Yeah. Which I've done. And then I ran all my ads myself. And now we are at the point to where, because of retail, so this is tying into that point where we needed somebody. Yeah. So that was when we were online only. I made a major mistake, and nothing against them, but it was just a cost mistake. We spent like $17,000 for the marketing agency our very first year. Wow. Yeah. They did not make the return. They were like, well, we generated this much revenue, but our profit was ate up. So it was like, it doesn't matter. Right. You know what I mean? You have to make money. And I'm not talking about revenue. I'm talking about profit. You have to. And I know profit fluctuates and can suffer in certain situations for strategic reasons and whatnot, but ideally you want to make a profit all the time, and you want to make a healthy profit all the time. But
the whole thing with advertising is you have to find that sweet spot where you can put in $1 and get back 4 or 5 more.
So, and that's going into what I was saying is I was running all my ads after that, because I made that mistake. We hired everything out right away, and it was like, they sold us. They got us, And I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure they know their stuff, but it just didn't work out with us, right? They may have done great with other companies. I don't know. But so what I did is I sat down for 3 hours, watched video after video after video. I learned how to run ads. I ran ads myself for like 8 months to a year. Had success with it. And I'm not an expert, and I'm not saying an expert, I could do better than the expert. I'm just saying I'm not an expert, but I had success based on YouTube videos. Now that we're doing retail, I'm the salesman for that. So now I don't have the time, because I'm full. Like I said, we picked up 21 retailers in 4 months in 3 states, with 7 or 9 more pending in other states, plus the international distribution. So like now I am at the point to where I have to have help.
But you spend all the time doing it yourself and figuring out what works, so that if you do have someone else do it, you can see what they're doing and how they're doing it, and say either it's working or it's not working.
Yeah, I've already tweaked, and I don't mean that, and I make many mistakes, and I'm no expert, but I've already tweaked our new agency's ads that's been posted, because they've made some mistakes already. Same mistakes I made. Right. I just noticed it. Was like, nope. Ooh. You know what I mean? Went in there and just, I didn't even tell them. I just went in and just edited it, you know, because I was just like, they don't know, you know, and then and we have meetings, so then we always talk about strategies and whatnot, and then they know. But that was the very first round that they ran, and they didn't know, so I didn't even tell. I just went in and changed what I needed to change on it. You know?
The thing with ads in particular, because I'm running ads for my new business and doing it kind of like myself for the first time, really hands-on, and it takes constant tweaking and tinkering to actually figure it out.
That's the thing. So online, I had the time to dig in to the analytics and try to figure it out. And now, like I said again, I'm not the expert, but I was able to get it this far.
Yeah.
Once retail came on board, then it was like, I got windshield time. I'm driving all over Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, you know, so it's like, when am I I can't have the laptop open while I'm driving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You need to get a driver or something.
Yeah. And then also, fairness to my family, you know, I have a wife with a 19-month-old boy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
you got to save some time.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the heck with Dry Pocket. That's my family.
Yeah.
My family is the whole reason for all of this. You know, if they go, it all crumbles.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I lose everything in terms of why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
You know, so no matter what, when I get home, I need to spend time with them. I need to be there. I need to be present, you know. And then maybe at 11 o'clock, if I'm still wired, I'll crank the laptop back up when everybody else is asleep.
Mm-hmm.
But the balance is a struggle. And that's
I was going to get into that.
Yeah, Varnes Media is on board now. They do an amazing job. Again, Andy Varnes, you're the jam, dude. Awesome, man.
Awesome guy.
Dude, they had her stuff. I got to just listen. I'm just so excited about this. I literally was like a little kid in a candy store. So he had a, was it a Shaquille Quarterman? Jacksonville Jaguar linebacker.
Uh-huh.
He put on like a mini camp for like some kids in the community, and Andy knows them. They've worked to collaborate together in the past. Mm-hmm. So he was out there, and we ended up donating products to the kids for whatever competitions they had or whatnot. And they got all these photos done and videos done with the NFL linebacker, and I'm just like, holy crap. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just, to me, that's amazing, dude. Because from where I come from, I would have never in my mind dreamed that an NFL starting linebacker is repping our stuff and we're collaborating with them. You know what I mean? For good causes. Like, that's like a milestone check, you know? So that's totally off topic, but I'm just literally so excited about that.
It's exciting. Just like celebrate the little wins along the way.
Oh, yeah. And that was all because of Varnes Media. So, I mean, they're just doing a great job.
He's got it dialed in.
Yeah. He's great at content.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to just stay on, harping on him, but he is. He does amazing work. He is. So.
Well, he's put in all the work. He's done it all himself, like we've been talking about. He knows the content game.
Yep. He's actually setting us up with me and him both had an idea. He's setting us up with affiliate programs too. So I'll be filming a little script soon announcing it, but this is kind of something new. So tying this in,
nice.
He actually did this, but we've had influencers, and where we give them promo codes and whatnot, but it was kind of unorganized. Right. You know what I mean?
It's hard to track that stuff.
Yeah, it was hard to track. So now he set up the affiliate programs with the custom links and whatnot and paid commissions through this platform. Can't remember the name of it, Upwork or so. So it attracts all those influencers in that are already on the platform that want to make money.
That's awesome.
So that's cool. And then we're also working at doing like a lead generator. So he's got a lot of like help that comes and goes with like, I don't know if it's interns or part-timers or whatever the case may be, but they're excited about it. They want to start. I've got a list of 153 leads with marinas, kayak shops, surf shops within like 4 states.
That's awesome.
And they're going to be calling on them for me, and
really?
They can get commission based and whatnot. But the idea is generate the leads, send me to do it, to go close it, but you generate it to save me on time, keep me in front of the retailers while you're bringing me leads.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it works out into a sale, we pay commissions and whatnot. So it's not a career for them, but it teaches them how to sell. They're all like 18, 19, going into college, so it's a trait, and it's a part-time gig. So, I mean, want to make some extra money and you're bored, why not,
So let's talk about the journey of Dry Pocket since we last talked a little bit. What have been like the biggest challenges that you've had with the scale that you're bringing on? Because obviously you had just brought on your partner when we talked before. It was all very new. Like, I remember you were super excited about it. What have been some of the challenges with that and like just growing faster and like adjusting to that quick growth? Because you said you've been able to handle the pressure, but like I'm sure there was challenges along the way and learning curves.
Oh yeah, I mean mainly. So 4 months is only 4 months, right? So we really hadn't even. Now granted, online we've sold into every state, all over Canada, and all around Australia online, but that's not me knocking on doors,
right?
So like. I've been knocking on doors for 15 years. So the sales side of thing is not the challenge. The challenge is the time management. That's really all of it comes down to time management, because I'm on the road now. And then, 5 to 6 hours windshield time every other day, so it's just getting everything done with the growth has been the biggest problem I've had. So, and I mean, but that's part of it though. That comes with it, you know? So, I mean, it's a good problem is what I'm getting at. Like, I'm not complaining, you know? I mean, I'd rather live in that stressed out state with progress than be bored with no progress, with nothing to do, you know, like anybody, right? So the biggest challenge I've had would be time management with it. Not so much, I don't have any problems with my partners. I mean, they're, like I was telling you, I'm very passive. So like they say stuff, I'm cool with it as long as it makes sense. I'm a very easygoing person when it comes to that. I'm flexible. But like partners, amazing. It's been a blessing. It's been a dream come true. We'll be on Academy Sports website in 2 weeks, by the way.
That's
that
awesome.
Came from my partners. That's how I tied that in.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I remember hearing there was something about Academy Sports.
Yeah. We'll dig into that. But the reason why I just announced it was because to bring in what the partners brought. You know what I'm saying? So like they're a huge blessing. So I have no problems with partners. I don't have any problems with retailers either. It's all a personal relationship with us because it's me selling to them. Now, I don't know how that'll go if we bring on the agency, but I don't have any issues with them. I don't have any inventory issues or anything like that because of the backing we have. We can always get more when need be as long as it makes sense. So it all comes down to time management, and I need more all the time. I need more. I've got 20 in 4 months, whatever it may be, but did that just
That's just a wide angle,
okay, yeah. So I got 20 in 4 months, but I need 300. You know,
has that been the biggest thing that the partnership has been able to bring is like just better inventory management and like and more capital for that? That's a huge deal.
I mean, it's the make it or break it deal.
Yeah.
If you don't have inventory, what are you selling?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
and you just can't grow as fast as you want to. If you've got like, if you're generating all this demand but you can't fulfill it, then you
prime
can't
example.
get anywhere.
I'll put the timeline out here real quick. So 2021, we sold into every state online. Now, that sounds like a lot, but, you know, we had a $70, $80 product at the time. So, like, 3 in this state, 20 in that state. You know, it's not like I'm selling 50,000 in every state. You know what I mean? At that time, you know. So then halfway through 2022, I went through that Shark Tank type of deal that you know about and that we briefly discussed on. Because of that, now it's 2023, and it's a little over halfway through 2023 now, right? That deal happened halfway through 2024. We didn't get organized because the whole deal took a while. You know, so Dry Pocket kind of took a standstill for a little bit in terms of growth because we were working out the details with the partnership and how we're going to proceed forward. So basically, April, May 2023 is when we really got ramped up again, when all the inventory arrived. So we got a late start this year. Since then, like I said, roughly 4 months or whatever, since then, we've got 20 plus retailers, 1 signed contracts, international distributor, 1 coming on board in Australia. So in terms of what they brought to the table and how it grew, is it blew up when they came. And that ties into what you were saying is you need that capital. If you don't have that capital, you can grow, but it's a way slower rate. Without that capital,
you've got to be so much slower and more strategic.
Yeah, because you don't have the money. You know, if you make a mistake, then it could wipe you out. Like when you have the money, you can make a mistake and reabsorb it. You know what I mean, and correct it, and then keep moving. But if you don't have the capital and you make a mistake, like that $17,000 one I was telling you about, that almost killed us. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Like we were able to break it, you know, beat it, and then grow from it, and now 17 grand would still suck, but it wouldn't break us. You know what I mean? But like, so I mean, 17 grand is still 17 grand at the end of the day. Nobody wants to lose 17 grand. Yeah. But 17 grand isn't as hurtful as it would have been then, you know, or was then. So yeah, they bring capital. They bring we have, instead of me shipping all my products out of my bedroom walls stacked up in there, you know, like hustling on the street, you know what I mean? Instead of that, we now have a distribution center in California with all 6,000 plus units sitting in that they are shipping with personnel out. They're not Dry Pocket employees. They're like 3PL. I think that's what it's called, 3PL, 3DL.
One of like a fulfillment center.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So they brought that. And then one of their connections, they also brought more factories to produce the goods at a lower cost, so they save me in my cost too. So I still have, I had 4 factories total, 2 different countries, and one of them's gone now because of costing. And then, like I said, I still have one of mine. The other 2 are theirs. most of my stuff is going to theirs because of the cost. It's better. There's just a better factory. They've got more personnel. They're a bigger factory, so they can produce them faster at a lower rate. And
now that you're probably producing in much bigger batches, you can get bigger cost
Exactly.
savings.
That came from the capital.
Yeah.
You know, so eventually I still have one factory where some of my products are in because the initial batch that they made I wasn't happy with, and I said I'm not going to sacrifice my quality for a couple dollars, you know, so they will get it right, but it was a quick time crunch and I wasn't happy with their first batch on the certain product. So I stayed with mine, and eventually, I mean, if they bring it up or my cost goes down with currently, we may move everything or may not, you know. But that being said, they brought that on too, and then they also brought on connections to some bigger box stores like Academy Sports. So Varnes, where are we at now? Varnes Media, Andy already knows this, but Varnes Media's commercials will be on the Academy Sports website within the next couple weeks.
That's exciting.
So huge for Varnes.
That is
huge.
Know?
I mean, that's just something cool he could state, you know, but anyway, so yeah, they brought on Academy. So we're doing their drop shipping program. We will be selling throughout the entire country from their website, along with Dry Pocket separate. They act as a retailer, you know.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. And then we've also got some interest from other people that are tied into Bass Pro. So they've already looked at the products, tested the products. They loved them. They're going to start try to start the process with us getting an interview with Bass Pro.
Nice.
So we don't know how that'll go. You know, that's still super early, but fingers crossed, because that'll be another academy, you know.
I could see them being pretty hyper selective about their products, so it probably just takes longer.
Oh, it does. I mean, Academy took 7 months.
Yeah.
You know, and we're still not live yet. It's good. I got the email, was it last week, that stated that Academy loved the content, and you will be on our website no later than the end of this month. Wow. So, I mean, it took 7 months, though.
Is that a lot of just back and forth, like sending products back and forth, asking questions? How does that work?
Yes and no. A lot of it is they're just super busy, and it takes them time to get to you.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
They've got a long queue of stuff to look for.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, it's not even just new products. I mean, they're managing all the current products, too. You know, so it's not like it's just one person handling all the new stuff. You know, it's a mix of everything. So it just takes time. And that's the thing. If you don't have patience. I mean, dude, I've been building this since 2016. Didn't make a first sale till 2021.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, patience is key. And that's the difference between most people, in my opinion, is discipline and patience and consistency. And I mean, I know everybody probably says that. It's like a cliche thing. You know, everybody, it's like every motivational speech says that, you know, but like it's true though, because how many people would have not made it after the first prototype failed? I went through 17 failed prototypes. 17 within 4 years. You know what I mean? Most people would have quit within maybe the first, second, or third. Most people, in my opinion, would not make it to 17. And then finally, you know, and there's a whole story on, this sounds like I'm tooting my horn, but I'm not, but it's just the way it played out. Like, when my 17th prototype failed, I sat up all night long and got on, and there's an hour-long story behind this, but the quicker version is I sat up all night long on the USPTO.gov website hunting patents for this. And long story short, found the patent that I've made the partnerships with. He was in Israel. He just so happened to be in like San Diego like the next week, and was like, sent me back a message, anyway, you can get to San Diego? And I'm like, I'm in Florida, you know? So like, flew over there. Long story short, worked everything out. We are the first in America with the waterproof pockets. We're the first in the world and we've grown into these. Did I have the dry bags when we most and the coolers?
I think they were pretty new, but you did, yeah.
Yeah, so we got the world's first automatic self-sealing backpack dry bags, 100% waterproof.
Oh, you didn't have the backpacks yet.
I
think those are new.
Yeah. So we've got the world's first automatic self-sealing backpack dry bag. Seals air, water, gas tight in under a second just by letting go of it. It's got magnetic buckles, so you just get them close and they just latch. This bag will float and can act as a buoy to assist with keeping you above water. So like if you jumped on my website, you could see like all the photos and commercials on what people are using. Like for an example, the idea, I kayak fish, so I'd bungee strap it to my kayak. I use it as a tackle bag. And I just let it seals tight, throw it overboard. It floats behind me, gives me more room to fish on my kayak, keeping everything dry and above water. So that's out.
Awesome.
That's blowing up. I mean, that's one of the products that'll be on Academy. And then we also came out with the world's first automatic self-sealing double lock coolers. So that also float. So for an example, our backpack cooler, which is the best one we offer, it looks identical to the backpack dry bags, except it has a hard bottom and insulation, versus the dry bags has a soft bottom and no insulation.
Nice.
So, but they look very similar. It's like brother-sister kind of deal. So those, for an example, that thing floated in my pool, not my pool, my friend's pool on the 4th of July for like 6 hours. Just sitting there floating around. And I literally had a video with one hand, opened the whole cooler, pulled a drink out, tapped on it, sealed airtight in under a second, and then pushed it off into the pool.
That's awesome.
I did the whole thing with one hand, you know.
It's just floating around the pool. Anyone can grab at it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and the idea is, say if you're like floating the rivers, like the Ishnetucknee or the Swanee or whatever, Santa Fe, whatever river you live on, a lot of people get in inner tubes and they float them for like hours, you know, kind of make a day of it, right? Well, think about this. Now you don't have to have Ziploc bags. Now you don't have to have leave your stuff in your vehicle. You know, you got a waterproof pocket for your phone. You got a dry bag floating next to you with whatever you want to keep dry in there, change of clothes, whatever, electronics, whatever. And then you have a cooler on the other side strapped to you that's a soft backpack cooler just floating with you as well that seals automatically. So it's a convenience factor.
I love how you've added so many different products. So because you had mentioned you've got customers coming back to get more and more, and I think it's because you've added such a diverse range of products that cover all those different needs.
Exactly. So I want us to, and these percentages might not be exactly right because I haven't looked at it in a while, but last year our returning customer, it was like 3%. This year it's like 14%.
Wow.
That's what I mean. 14% is like pretty big in any industry. You know, so, and it's because we're the only ones, right? You know what I mean? So, and we have such a niche product that solves an issue or makes things easier for someone. How many people have fallen into a pool or a river or a lake or beach, whatever, with their phone in their pocket? How many people have ruined things and been like, oh crap, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now you don't have to worry about that. It just helps solve an issue.
Are you doing any text message marketing?
Not yet, but it's coming. Yeah.
I've got something I just found out about that I got to tell you about afterwards.
Cool. Yeah, we do.
It's like a service that I heard about that's specifically really good for products that I think.
Yeah. Let's dive into that. Yeah, because we do email. We do all the normal Mark standard. We'll be on Hulu live TV. We've got a commercial going on live TV.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we've got I've always, honestly, man, I hate text message marketing because as a consumer, it drives me nuts when companies are texting me, but I'm not opposed to using it for my company. Yeah. You know, I just hate being the consumer. I'm just not a text marketing
I think the key is you just want to make it so that you can opt out because people hate when you can't opt out.
Yeah. And you also got to do texting strategically off your email. You know what I mean? You don't want to be texting people every day or 3 times a week.
No, absolutely
You know, I'd rather send an email once a week and then a text message once a month.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Something like that, you know, because a text is more personal than an email. And people are more likely to get aggravated from a text than they are an email, even though it still both comes with their phone. Something about texting is just more personal. It's like if I called them twice a week, they'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah, leave me alone. I just got something. I'll probably get something next year, but come on.
Never call me again.
I think that is the key. It's striking that balance. The companies I've seen do text marketing well is when they have some kind of big promotion. That's because people like knowing about that. If there's some big promotion, maybe you've been thinking about buying, but you're like, oh, now's the time because you got a promotion.
I also like maybe you left something in your cart text message.
Those are good.
Something like that, but only one. You know what I mean? Not a bunch. You mainly do the email, but then maybe drop one. And I'm not an expert with text message marketing, but speaking as a consumer, I know it would drive me nuts if this company keeps texting me, hey, spend more of your money with me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So,
that's fair. It's like anything, you got to strike that balance.
Yeah. You're 100%. It's all about balance. Everything. Everything in life is, right? Everything in moderation, you know?
Speaking of balance, I wanted to get into your personal journey a little bit too. We were talking about this a little bit off air. You said you've had a pretty massive kind of weight loss journey and personal journey.
Yes. One thing I just wanted to mention before I jump into that is we are also coming out, speaking of the products and how you mentioned the growth of what we're offering, we're coming out with, we have fishing pants, fishing shorts now, swim shorts now, backpack dry bags, and backpack coolers and tote coolers. We are now coming out with fishing pants with a waterproof pocket, fishing jackets with a true waterproof pocket, not a water resistant, true waterproof pocket, waterproof shell and everything. There's a bunch of features to it. We're coming out with a little bit larger dry bag. Once again, the only one in the world.
Right.
That's more of a backpacking, camping type dry bag.
Okay.
And it's a little bit bigger, and it's got waist straps with magnetic buckles, and it's also got detachable waterproof pouches on it that you can move around to the front and actually hook it to your like backpack straps. So now you have a waterproof backpack, and now you have a waterproof chest pack. Something that's more like if you just like a candy bar, you know what I mean, or a Cliff Bar, whatever the case. You know, you can have it right there instead of having to take everything.
Yeah,
off.
like the strap where you just put it like all the way around you. It's got like a
got
fanny pack type thing.
But it has hooks right here, so it hooks right here. But it looks like a fanny pack on your chest in a way, but it can detach from that and attach back to the dry bag.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then we're gonna make a cooler that looks exactly like that.
Nice.
That's more of like a backpacking cooler, brother sister, backpacking dry bag, backpacking cooler. So if you're going hiking, if you're going camping, backpacking, you know, and you got most people do it with like at least 2 people, you know, just like a couple, right, or best friends or whatever. So one has the cooler, one has the dry bag.
Nice.
You see what I mean? And
And
both
you've
float.
got that 3 to 14% customer return rate that's probably going to keep going up. You start offering so many more products to choose from. I think that'll go up even more.
Yep, exactly. Well, hopefully, yeah. But I mean, both those will float as well. So if you're crossing a river, just let it float beside you.
Yeah.
And just hold on to it. You know?
That's awesome. You have the full package.
Yeah. So anyways, but to tie in, I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, man, so I've learned some things about myself, insecurities, and I'll admit to it all, you know, because I'm not like, pride, you know what I mean? I'm a man, you know, like, I mean, the hell with all that, heck with all that, you know, so the truth is, I used to weigh like 220. I was athletic, played sports my whole life, you know, never fought kickboxing, but trained it for the workout to maintain shape, right? In shape. So loved doing that kind of stuff, HIIT training, etc. Did that forever till like maybe 30 or 32 roughly. Got married, got out of college. Priorities changed, motivations changed, responsibilities came in, had a kid. But anyways, got really, really out of shape. Got all the way up to 291. And what I learned about myself is some people have natural born confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is one of those sayings, you know, you always see some, like, I hate the saying because I don't like the judgment on anybody, but it ties into what I mean. Where I like, how'd that guy get that girl? You know what I'm saying? Like that, you know what I mean? And it's that dude was just so confident, right? So what I learned is I am not that guy that just has natural confidence. I have my own insecurities that I had to deal with. What I learned was I used to think that I was that guy, but this is what happened. Because I've always been confident, but it was because I was in shape and I was proud of the way I looked. It's it's a weaker form of confidence, and I'll admit it. Right?
It's like confidence propped up.
Superficial confidence. So what happened to me was I thought I was like that dude, man, that A-list. Like, man, I'm confident, I'm motivated. I was until I got fat and out of shape, and then it just disappeared. And I was like embarrassed to like get on stage and talk to people. I was embarrassed to like, not embarrassed, but self-conscious. You know what I mean? Kind of scared, nervous. Like in my mind, it's like, what are people thinking I look like? It's just insecurities that I had to defeat. I had to overcome.
Ones that you didn't know you had.
I didn't know I had because I was always in good shape. And it disappeared, and all of a sudden I fell apart, and I wasn't me. And then so what happened was, and I was like stringing myself along until the transition happened with the big investor. So what I told myself, I made a promise to myself. I said, if this deal goes through, I have to be the best version of myself mentally. The way I can become that again, I could spend years and years trying to overcome it. You know what I mean? And then because, you know, well, I'm comfortable in my skin, you know, or I could lose that weight in 6 months, which I did in 4 months, and wonder if that confidence would come back to try it.
Have you felt it come back?
Oh my God, dude, I'm better than I've ever been. Now, not in looks, but I'm saying who I am mentality-wise, you can't stop me in terms of like
I can hear it in the way you talk, honestly.
Yeah.
Just from like the last time we talked to now, like I can just hear the confidence like in your voice and the way you talk.
I was like 270 something when we did that, and I got all the way up to 291. And then I had a breaking point. Man, I was running out of breath. You know what I mean? That was the physical side. But I mean, I just felt awful. I wasn't flexible, and then mentally I was destroyed. So I just told myself I had to become the best version of myself. So when I lost that weight, it all came back. So what I learned about myself is I am not the natural confident guy, and that's okay. What I did learn is how to become that again. And that's also okay because now I know what my capabilities are. Now I know how to become the best version of myself.
Yeah.
So instead of looking out like therapy and all, you know what I mean? How do I love myself? I just know how I operate. I figured it out, learned it, and said now I need to turn myself into a tool.
You started playing by your own rules.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's a good way to look at it.
That's literally what it is.
Yeah. So instead of trying to change who I am, I just figured out who I was and figured out how to become the best version of myself again. And thankfully it worked out. And man, you can put me on a stage and I ain't going to stutter. And well, I probably won't say ain't, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to stutter. You know what I mean? I can put me in front of anybody and I'll pitch it. I'll sell it. That ties into why I've had so much success within the past 4 months, because I'll walk into anywhere and just start talking.
Yeah.
And as long as you come across friendly and nice and humble and not an a-hole or arrogant, dude, most people are receptive to you. That doesn't mean they're going to make the sale right then, but most people are receptive. That's 1 of 6 touches before I make the sale. So you may tell me no today, but we had a great conversation and it was friendly and you like me. Well, maybe 5 times later you might sign the deal. You see what I mean? But if I come in there and, like a bull, you know what I mean? Metaphorically, talking about being arrogant and being pushy and being aggressive, they may be like, the heck with that guy. I hope he never comes back. Yeah. So I've learned a lot about myself and how to become the best version of myself and how to use my capabilities as tools to be better. So,
what's the next step? What are you still working on?
Sell it for $125 million. No, I'm just kidding. That's
one of the next steps.
Yeah, that would be a step way down the road.
Yeah. Probably not that far down the road from what you're talking about.
I mean, we have a long
kind of
ways
growth
to go.
You're seeing, yeah.
I don't want to give off the impression that I'm worth $100 million because I'm not. But you know what I mean? But yes, the company is 100% going in the right direction. We've got tremendous amount of momentum. Extremely grateful for the opportunity that this family gave me and is still giving me. Extremely blessed that I'm living my dream, man. Like I've come from parents that are like the best loving parents you could ever ask for. They'd give me anything and everything I ever wanted. But in finances, they just were like 99% of the people in the country. They live in somewhat paycheck to paycheck, they own a home now, but they didn't for the longest time, renting, you know what I mean? So the only reason why I say is I didn't have that background of education, of entrepreneurship and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean.
And I remember from talking to you before, this was a huge driving force for you getting into entrepreneurship, as you were like, I just knew from a young age I wanted something different for myself.
Yeah, exactly, because this is my dream. Tying into that was I always wanted to do something to be independent. Because, in school, and I'm not knocking anybody for anything or any organization because I don't want to go down that route, but like in school you're kind of set up to, what do? You go to class from like 7 to 3:30, whatever the hours are now, right? That's very similar to a job. Right?
It is.
And then you do that for 18 years. It's very similar to go to school, graduate, work for somebody until you're 65. And then you go to college, and then you're told to get a useless – some degrees are useless, some degrees are not, so please don't hate on me for saying this. But, like, me personally, it was a useless degree. Then I went to college having no idea what I wanted to do, right? And I was not brainwashed, but – pushed in a direction, influenced to be in a direction because of society's ways, right? And so went to college, got a sociology degree, not knocking sociology or any sociologists, but for me it was useless because I didn't know what to do with it. I got into sales, and thankfully I had a successful sales career. But my point was I was kind of shifting towards that, like I need to go work for somebody till I was 65. So I've always had a dream that I wanted to do something for myself. I wanted to create freedom, independence. I wanted to free my family, my parents, which you were talking about. That's the number one reason why I did this from the beginning, was I wanted to retire my parents. Since then, I have a kid. So now I want to retire my parents and give my kids something. You know what I mean? But I'm living my dream. We have not made it yet in terms of that $125 million, but, dude, I get to do this every day, man. I get to wake up. I get to say, what am I doing today? If my son like, well, he's 19 months, so it's not happening now, but say he's like 5. If my son is like, Daddy, can we go fishing? And it's Tuesday at 10 in the morning, I get to choose if I want to do that or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of me saying, well, let me go ask and see if I can take off, you know. And once again, not knocking people with jobs. I had one for a very long time, but this is better. This is way better. I get to do what I want to do when I want to do it. The difference, it's not, but when I say that, I'm not saying I'm going fishing every day. Yeah. I'm not doing that. You know, I'm working harder now than I've ever worked my entire life, but it's fun to me because I love it.
But you could say yes to that fishing on Tuesday at 10 a.m. and then you could also you want to make it up on the Saturday.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Maybe your son has soccer practice or something on the Saturday and you're like, all right, time to work on some new deals.
Yeah. No, exactly.
You can create that balance for yourself.
Yeah. Like prime example, the 4th of July. That weekend, I had a bunch of fun with friends and family, and we cooked out. And we went to the pool, like I was telling you about the cooler floating and everything, and had a blast. Monday, I did something with my parents. I can't remember. I think I helped them. I went over there to help my dad move some furniture around because they were throwing some stuff away. So that's not work. Mm-hmm. But on the 4th of July, I was like, man, I can't go again without working. So I called up one of my retailers and said, how about I come down there, set up a tent, help drive traffic upstairs and make sales for you, because they had a huge 4th of July event. And, of course, they were like, yeah, come on. You know, it's just more support, right? Mm-hmm. So that ties into what you're saying, man. I mean, I took a couple of days off and was like, man, now I feel kind of, I need to get back to work. You know what I mean? So
that's the struggle with being an entrepreneur. It's like you get like antsy when you don't get to work for a while.
It's so funny you say that.
I'm completely responsible for this. So like if I'm off for a couple of days, I'm like, gotta get back to it.
Yeah, dude, it's funny you say that because I get anxiety from like, remember when I said earlier, I need more. Mm-hmm. I need 300. I've got 20. It's only been 4 months, but I need 300. Mm-hmm. That's the anxiety that kicks in, like it's never enough because I'm going to fail. Yeah. It's never enough. I need to keep going. I need to keep pushing or it's going to fail. And realistically, I mean, dude, it's been 4 months and I got 20. You know what I mean? You can't wake up one day and have 300. It takes time. That's where patience comes in. That's where discipline comes in and consistency. But the anxiety kicks in the back corner like, it's not enough. You need to get there. You need it.
It's funny because you kind of have to have and develop this this two-sided approach where you have the anxiety, right? I just talked to and interviewed someone who made a big point out of saying anxiety is a really helpful tool in business because it prepares you for the unknown, but it also gives you this sense of urgency, and you need that sense of urgency, but you also have to be able to have that patience at the same time.
Yeah, it's a balance, like you were saying, because like my anxiety right now, I weigh 244. I went from 291 to 244. My goal is 230, and I've done that in 4 months. It's going to take me a little bit longer to get the rest off, just for the fact that I'm getting closer to my natural body weight. So now I got to be a little more stricter. Yeah. So the further you are off, the easier it is to come off till you get closer. But my goal is 230. You know, and if I get 230, 235, I'm happy. You know what I mean? But the point of me saying that again was my anxiety actually went away too. Not all of it, but they got better. Everything improved as I improved, as my confidence, a lot of it's mental, right? As my confidence came back, as my pride came back of who I am and happy with myself. Anxiety diminished too, but anxiety can definitely be used as a tool. But anxiety is like depression. I don't have depression, thankfully, but like it's a slippery slope, man. Mm-hmm. If you let that anxiety stick around too long, it'll cripple you too. Yeah. And then it's not a tool anymore. You know, so yeah, you're right. Like it keeps you motivated. Yeah, it keeps you motivated. It keeps you sharp. Like, oh my God, I got to get this done. That urgency. Mm-hmm. But then it could also be like, oh my God, I got to get this done. You know what I'm saying?
It can be paralyzing if you can't balance it. You could have so much anxiety that you're spinning your wheels and you can't actually move in any direction. Yeah. Well, you got to be able to execute. That's why entrepreneurship is so hard, because it's a balance of so many things. Like you have to constantly have these two-sided approaches to so many things and figure out the right balance. Mm-hmm.
And I'm still learning, man, and I'm always going to be learning, you know. But one thing I have noticed that's somewhat not annoying, but not annoying at all. But sometimes I'm like, man, I kind of wish I could just go back, because now that I'm doing this thing, all my friends are all proud of me and rooting for me, and family, and even people I'm just acquaintances with, because it's so it's that American story in a way, you know, coming not from much and building it up, and everybody's seeing you do things, and it's not like and I'm doing things that are different too. It's not like it's a landscaping company or anything, which are great, but I'm saying I'm bringing things that no one's ever seen before, right? But the problem with that is I can't just hang out with my friends anymore. All they want to talk about is Dry Pocket and what's going on and asking me questions and giving me their opinions, and it's like, dude, can we just drink a beer? You know what I'm saying? What about football, man? You know, it just gets exhausting sometimes because, like, you also need your break. You need your time away. My big time away is my family. But sometimes when I'm with my friends, I'd like that be my time away too, you know? And it's okay to talk here and there, but it gets like the whole thing gets absorbed with it. And then it's people, and nothing against the people giving me their opinions because they all have come from good intentions, right? But what I've learned here is you got to be careful with people's opinions because their feelings get hurt. But, like, no disrespect to any occupation I'm about to mention. I'm just naming a random occupation. But, like, a school teacher, right? Like, that's a wonderful career. That's amazing. But you can't give me advice on how to market products in Australia that they've never seen before. And then if I disagree with your advice, you can't get your feelings hurt. Like, just like I can't give you advice on how to treat these kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I've learned that I'd rather just disappear and be like, let me just hang with my family or like a couple of my like really good friends and just not put all the rest out because I don't mean any disrespect, but like just kind of separate myself a little bit because it just gets to where it's like I just don't want to do this. You know, like
it's a tough balance to strike. I think you kind of almost have to take that approach where you're just like, let's just hang out and like be chill.
Because I get tired of like explaining things like, and then they ask me, and I mean, and like I said, it's all coming from good intentions, and they're all rooting, but it just gets to where it's like, dude, man, my mind is already like needing a break. You know?
Exactly. Like I've been working on this all day. I just want to crack a beer with you, man.
I want to drink a beer and talk about silly shit stuff. You know what I mean? And like laugh and you know. Yeah.
So what's next for you in your personal journey, do you think? It sounds like you've made incredible strides in the last like 4, 5, 6 months, and like you're just catching more and more momentum. What do you think you could still unlock there that'll make even more impact?
I want to drop a little bit more weight and then shift my regime around and do what I used to do in terms of like physique and all that, at least somewhat, just because I know what it does to me mentally. My wife and I are wanting to have another kid, so we plan on doing that within the next year. My current kid is 19 months, so we want them roughly 2.5 years, 3 years apart at max.
It's a good gap,
but that's it, you know. But just continue doing what I'm doing, man. Just keep my head moving forward. Just try to eliminate as many distractions as possible, and I need to become more organized and more efficient and learn and, you know, keep an open mind with things. I need to be able to pivot when needed, you know. So, I mean, all of that is what's next, you know, but a lot of that is always going to be next. You know what I mean? It's going to be ongoing forever, like the pivoting, the learning, the open mind and all that. But strictly personally, I just want to keep having fun, man.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to build this. I want freedom. I want to free my family. I mean, let's just dream life now, right? Say when we do build this to 125 million, right? I want to free my friends. I want to free my loved ones. You know, like I hate nice things. I don't give a dang about nice things. My van looks really cool, but it's a 2006. You can't tell it's a 2006 because of the wrap, and it's in good condition.
It does look great.
Yeah. But I mean, my point is, I've got a personal truck I bought brand new in 2015, 0 miles on it. It's been paid off, and I've got 253,000 miles on it now. I am not trading that thing in. It's paid off. It's healthy. It's good. I love it. You know, my point is I don't care about nice things at all, man. You can't take it with you. I care about freedom. And you know how they say money doesn't buy you happiness? It's different to the individual, right? Everybody's different. Everybody's life's different. Everybody's situation's different. For an example, maybe if you're born a billionaire, maybe it won't make you happy because you don't know what it's like to not pay rent.
Yeah.
You know, I went through a voluntary surrender on a vehicle one time when I was 19.
Really?
A repo because I was an idiot. I cared more about partying and like, you know what I mean, and being at everything than I did paying my bills and responsibilities. So I mean, to me, money buys me happiness, and not in the term that the physical dollar buys me happiness. What gives me happiness is freedom. What gives you freedom? Money in this today's society. The more money you have, the more freedom you have to make whatever choice you want to make.
I have a very strong take on this too. I think money doesn't buy you happiness. I think money buys you the freedom to pursue what makes you happy.
Yeah, that's virtually the same thing I'm saying. Like, if you love nice cars and it can buy you a nice car, well, then that might make you happy. If you love freedom, that might make you happy. I mean, it's different for everybody, right? But
it buys you optionality. Like, it buys you the options to do what you want.
Yeah.
It buys you. It's bought you the option to go all in on Dry Pockets and do the thing that makes you happy and that you love.
Exactly, man. Because, I mean, how many people... I saw a TikTok this morning on the way over here, right before I left to come over here, and it was this guy sitting in his car, and the caption was something along the lines of, like, 8 a.m. right before you go to work for 8 hours, and the guy was like... Oh, hell, man, let me put on my fake smile and pretend like I love this. You know what I mean? It was just hilarious because the point was so many people are trapped in doing something they don't want to do because they've created so many expenses reoccurring every month. Like, why do you need a $3,000 mortgage if you can get one that's, I don't know. I mean, South Georgia is different than here. A $3,000 mortgage here might be normal, but my mortgage is $538 in Valdosta, Georgia.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my house in Jacksonville would probably be like, the mortgage would probably be like $1,700. You know what I mean? But anyway, so it all depends on what you want, bro. So, like, a lot of people are trapped because they think they need that brand new car. Well, that's $1,000 a month. Well, why? So you can look cool? So other people can think you've made it? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, once again, if that's what you want, you do you, I do me. Me personally, I don't care about nice things. I care about freedom. The less debt you have, the more freedom you have. I mean, you can make moves. If you hate your job, well, just quit. Go get another job.
If you have low expenses, you can quit and go find something else. If you keep your expenses low, you just give yourself more options to be able to make those moves, knowing that a lot of them won't work. I mean, you had 17 prototypes before you had one that worked. Yeah. But you probably had lower expenses that allowed you to take those swings and make those missed swings until one worked out. Yeah.
I mean, I had a full-time job, too, building this from 2016 till up to 4 months ago. It's 2023. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like, I had a full-time job, so it's not like, I mean, you know, I've now been able to make that move full-time. But, yeah, I mean, I couldn't have done it before, you know, because you had to build the company to make the revenue, you know.
Exactly.
I even took a pay cut to go work full-time for myself, but I love what I do.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, the other day I went kayaking and filmed a commercial and was like, dude, I'm kayaking. I'm fishing, you know.
And it's work, technically.
Yeah, it is. I filmed a video that generates revenue, you know, and potentially, you know. So, but the point is I get to do things that I love to do that's now can make me money doing it, you know. So.
Yeah. What's next for Dry Pockets? I know you've got some new products coming out. You said you just want to like keep having fun. Do you see any like major hurdles in the way that you're excited to tackle and try to overcome?
Yeah, I want Australia. That's a hurdle. That's a tackle. I'm also trading emails with a company in Japan right now too. Wow. So yeah, and that's both of them are still early stages, but the Australia one's working out just like how Canada worked out, and Canada worked out. So maybe this will work out too. But that's the next hurdle. I want to be in 4 or 5 countries within the next 3 years, with inventory in their country. You know, like
in
support
stores
teams.
And retail and
yeah. So we're on the way. We're in 2 now. You know,
what's the biggest, aside from that, like being in different countries, what's the biggest thing that could happen to the company right now to make the most impact for what you're trying to do?
Man, that's a hard question because there's so many things that can affect the company. And I don't really know like what the biggest one is, but I mean, we still need more awareness. I think Academy is going to be huge. I think that'll be a big catapult, you know, and then if Bass Pro comes on, that'll be a big catapult. But realistically, man, I mean, our Canadian distributor just put a reorder in, you know, so the biggest thing, in my opinion, without having time to really think about it, I would say we just need to keep awareness out there. Awareness is the biggest thing right now. The products will sell. I mean, if you like being outdoors and near the water, the products will sell. So I mean, it's just got to get out there. So I mean, the Hulu commercial would be big for us. That'll be big. If Australia comes on board, that's just more awareness. We can pump stuff down there, pump ads down there. I mean, I've already sold a good bit down there from United States. Bro, these guys, these guys will pay money for a bathing suit. So, like, it was like a $70 bathing suit with a waterproof pocket, right? Mm-hmm. Plus, like a $44 shipping cost to get it to Australia.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, they're spending over $100 on a pair of shorts. Now, once we get – same exact thing with the Canada. Before the distributor, the Canadians, before the distributor came on board.
The shipping,
they were spending over $100 on a bathing suit. And Canada is different. So America, it's either, I always get them flip-flop, but the threshold on my type of product, because there's different tax categories depending on what you're importing, is like, I think it's either $700 in America or $1,000, meaning that if you import it, you don't have to pay import tax. Okay. So, yeah, in Australia, it's either $1,000 or $700. I always get them flopped.
Gotcha.
Canada is $70. So, like, if they bought my $80 fishing shorts with a waterproof pocket, it breaks the $70 threshold. So not only do they have to buy the shorts plus the $30+ to get to Canada for shipping, now they get charged like a 30-something% import tax on that one product. So it'd be another, like, I don't know, $13-15 on top of that.
That's crazy.
But Canada's, they're different.
Even though it's in the same continental area.
Yeah. So, but now we've rebutted that by having a distributor there with inventory in there. So now it's free shipping in the country if that's what they're doing. I have to double check, so don't quote me on that if there's any Canadians watching. But yeah, but I mean, let me put it like this: if you had to pay for shipping, it's like $5 now. You know, but we in the States offer free shipping, so I'm assuming they might offer free shipping up there. But yeah, man, they don't have to worry about import anymore. The end user, they don't have to worry about that overcharged shipping cost. It's no different than how America operates now. And the same idea and concept for Australia once we get them set up.
That's major. Yeah, you get it in there and then you get rid of the shipping, then you can kind of mass distribute it.
Yeah, like for an example, I've got a competitor in Europe that is got waterproof pocket shorts. They don't have what we have in terms of selection and like other products, but they just have like a pair with a couple prints on it, right? And they sell theirs for $95 free shipping. But bro, the shipping costs $30 to get it over here, so that's why it's $95 free shipping. I sell mine at $70 and $80 free shipping.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So they don't have a market here. They don't have a market here because no one's gonna pay for that when mine are here, and we have more to offer anyways.
Yeah,
you know, and I'm not saying no one, but you know, the majority of people. That's why we've been able to have the growth we've had versus them over here. But it'd be the same thing if me trying to sell over there, which I don't. I don't care about Europe. I mean, I love Europeans, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about that market. I got America. I got Canada, potentially Australia, maybe even Japan, dude, with distributions there, not selling overseas. So, like, or shipping overseas.
Really want,
so I'm not, why are you even trying to sell over here? You're not going to be successful. You don't have any support whatsoever over here. Why would I even want to sell over there? Same thing for me. I'd be the most expensive for the same thing, essentially, and you'd have no support over there for me. You know what I mean? Until we got a distributor over there. They don't have the capital, because I do my research. They don't have the capital. They have not gone through a deal like I've gone through, thankfully, to have that capital to bring on distribution overseas. You know what I mean? So I'm ahead of everybody in terms of that, thankfully. And
so this deal was a hugely pivotal point for you. I want to ask you something about that because it was pretty fresh at the time, so I don't think you would have had as much to be able to reflect on at the time that we last talked about this. But what do you think it was in you that your investor and your partners now saw in you that made them say, we need to buy in on this guy? Like, this guy is going places with Dry Pockets, and we've got to become part of this. What do you think they saw in you?
Well, one, they saw the products. Can't take that away. The products are unique. They love the products. Two, and they've told me this. Two, they were impressed with what I was able to accomplish before they came on board with a part-time job and a pregnant wife. I mean, a full-time job and a pregnant wife. And my full-time job, dude, I was not tooting my horn, but it's just what happened. My full-time job, I broke a record in my territory. I had to sell $1.6 million worth of equipment, and that's from like $4,000 to $10,000 pumps, all the way up to like a $500,000 package and everything in between, right? So it's $1.6 million was never achieved in the territory that I had. I think the achievement was like 1.3 something or 1.4 at max was what somebody's achieved before me. So I broke a record for the 80 years that company's been in business. I broke a record at 1.6 million before I quit.
Wow.
Right. So the reason why I was telling you that is because I was really busy. Right. To be able to do that, I was really, really busy. So they were impressed with the fact that I was able to get this sold in every state and all around Canada while still maintaining that, breaking a record with them, also having a wife that was pregnant. You see what I mean? So they saw all of that, and they saw the hustle, and they saw the fact that it was 2016 when we started, and I never quit. Yeah. And they were just that, and they've told me that. They said that the products were awesome, but it was me and what I've done that sealed it. Because, I mean, they figured, hey, if I can do this part-time. Yeah. Yeah, pun. Yeah. So, but I mean, they just saw that I wasn't quitting. I was consistent. I was dedicated. They saw the passion, like you said, you could hear in my voice. And they thankfully believed in it. And with the co-ops, with what they bring to the table, it's life-changing. Yeah. I mean, I'm already living my dream. I'm not a multimillionaire yet, but I'm already living my dream,
What made you not quit before any of that all happened?
Oh, money. I mean, I was trapped. You know what I mean? Like, well, I mean, we had savings, but, you run through savings. So, I mean, remember we were talking about trapped and, like, it's not like I had $100,000 just laying around to where I could be like, all right, let me just give this a year. Let me quit my job, give this a year. No, I mean, we had savings, but it was for our kid, it was for our families, for emergencies, and like, if I would have quit then, I didn't have the revenue yet to justify with Dry Pocket. So I would have had to find another job. So I just, in my mind, I was like, I believe in this company. I'm about to have to be dragged through the ditch for the next few years in terms of like never having enough time, stressed out, being pulled in every direction all the time. I've already understood that I've got to be dragged through the trenches for a while before I see that light at the end of the tunnel or whatever, So in terms of what I mean by that is until the revenue justifies in Dry Pocket, I have to do both. I have to run thin. I have to like be pulled in every direction and live in that stressed out state. And now that I've been able to quit my job and go full time, I mean, there's moments where obviously I'm still stressed out. I'm human, right? And, we're a fast growing business. So, of course, it can be stressful, but it's different now. I'm not managing both now. You know what I mean? I had it's like prime example, dude. I broke that record. We had a meeting and it was like, yeah, congratulations. They gave me a little trophy and all. And it was just super nice and everything and grateful for. But then we did our the next year's budgets right after that individually. And they sat me down and they said, hey, man, so we're gonna raise your budget by $300,000. So now I have to sell $1.9 million. Oh. And I'm like, hold on, dude. Hold on. And this is the corporate structure I got sick of. You're always just a number, right? They want more and more and more without real justification on how it can be done. So so wait a minute. Previously, they've only sold 1.3. I broke or whatever it was. I broke a record out of 80 years of this business at 1.6. And you're telling me I got to do another $300,000? Like, records don't work that way, man. You don't break a record every single year, not consistently. Like, why don't you keep me at 1.6 and see if I can just match it? Because it's never been done before until me for this 1 year. Yeah. And it's not just because I'm some guru. And everybody knows this in sales with territories, depending on what you're selling. Some years are good, some years are bad. I had a ton of projects that just took off that I just happened to win, and so I broke a record, right? But, yeah, man, so I kind of lost where we were going with that question. Yeah.
I had asked you about why you didn't quit.
Yes.
And you talked about why you didn't quit your job. I actually meant it in a different sense, but I wanted to talk about that as well. I meant more along the lines of what made you never quit working on Dry Pocket all that time.
Yeah. I totally mistook that.
Those 5 years.
Yeah, sorry about that. I totally mistook that in terms of
also
job
a great. I was also curious about that because I mean you stayed in the other job for a while putting so much into it. So that I like hearing about both sides of it.
Yeah. So what never made me quit that was tying back into the dream. I said I've always wanted to have something for myself. this just happened to have a tremendous amount of potential. It's almost kind of, this is going to sound somewhat silly to a lot of people. Some people might relate to this. Some people might be like, oh, that's a fairy tale. I had a feeling, I almost feel cheesy even saying this because it's hard to explain it as in like in terms of reality. So like there's something in me with this, not with everything, just with this, that won't stop, man. It's a fire that keeps building. It's a vision. It's almost in the sense of like, this is what I'm here for. This is why there's a purpose in this. Like this was meant to be. And I know all of that is like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I don't know how to explain it, man. There's something in me that if I think about quitting, it's not well. You know what I mean? Like I'll cuss
like,
myself out. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I will go at myself. Like there's something in me, and like I said, it's not like with anything. It's just with this, there's a fire, there's a passion, there's something about what I'm doing that makes me feel like this is what I was meant to be doing. This was the path that I was always supposed to take. I just had to build that path, discover that path, etc. And I know that sounds all cheesy, and I know it's
I get it. I love
some
it.
people will relate, and some people will be like, because it's kind of like saying, or you know how you have, I used to be this. I used to watch motivational speeches all the time, and it'd be like, they don't actually tell you how to do it, though.
Yeah.
They just tell you, be happy, be mindful, be the lion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Never quit. So it's kind of like that in terms of what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't have a concrete answer on why I'm doing it. It's just something in me that's pushing me. And I'm not saying I'm religious, but I'm not saying to everybody that it's God pushing me or it's Jesus or an angel or whatever your beliefs are. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, I am personally religious, so I have my own beliefs, which I'm not going to dive into, but I don't know. It's just something in me.
Just
and that's
that
the only way I
internal
can.
force that you feel.
Yeah, it's just an internal force that's just pushing me, and it really does feel like going through those 17 prototypes.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, or a lot of people, would have quit. For whatever reason, I saw something bigger. I saw some people call it vision. Mm-hmm. You know, I see the path now, man. I see where we need to go, where this is going, and I've been right. I've listened to my gut, and I've been right. I've literally made decisions on my feeling, where I've turned people down that on paper made perfect sense, but I said, no, I don't feel it. And so far, and I'm not saying every decision I make is right, but so far, look where we're at now. So something's working out right. Something I'm doing is right. Whatever's in me is working. So,
I love it. Have you had did you have mile markers along the way that gave you feedback of any kind that said this is working, this is paying off? Because 17 I keep going back to that number 17. That's so many prototypes to go through. Were there any kind of feedback that you were getting from people in your life or things that were happening that told you this thing is working, like this is it? Or was it just literally just a feeling?
Yeah, no, so I'll kind of do it. We still have, how are we looking on time?
We're an hour 24 in.
Okay.
It is 10:40.
Okay, I'm fine on time. I meant for you on your, I don't know.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm all
cool.
right. I'm all right.
Okay, cool.
I know you've got till 11ish.
Yeah. So we're good. So yeah, I always had people tell me. So there's two sides. People always be like, man, that's a great idea, dude. Oh my God, you can make it work. Oh, do it, man. If you can make that work, do it. And then you have those insane people. He ain't gonna make it work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He ain't gonna be able to do it. You know what I mean? So, but the first part also motivated me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, they see potential in it if I can make it happen.
Yeah.
No matter what they were saying, I'll afterwards. And
the idea being good enough. On its own.
Yeah, like holy crap, if you can make that work, that's awesome. So that also kind of helped motivate me. But we started, in terms of the prototypes, man, I'll go into the story. So we started with the 17. We started with waterproof zippers. All waterproof zippers fail eventually. Mm-hmm. Once you get them dirty, they fail. Once they rust, they fail. There is another type of zipper that just came out that's decent, but doesn't have the capabilities that ours has. It's like 7 feet deep. Ours is 100. You know what I mean?
Totally.
But I mean, it works for certain markets, right? So, but anyway, so every single one of mine failed. So I actually got online before the patent thing. I'm going to break this story down. So I got online. I can't remember the H2 something. I can't remember the company now. It's been years. But they had a magnetic seal, right? And I was like, holy crap, can y'all make this with this and et cetera and et cetera. And they were like, yeah, we can do it for you. Then out of nowhere, I got an email saying we are no longer able to do this. We have a cease to exist, whatever that thing is. And then and I said, why? And they said, and then the guy kind of told me but didn't tell me. But basically, I got the gist that it was like kind of patent infringement or something like that. So I said, who's got the patent? They wouldn't tell me because they were fighting it. They were appealing it. They were fighting it. They wanted to keep me as a customer. They didn't want me to go to the correct source. So that's when I jumped on USPTO.gov and sat on there all night long. And then I found this patent, and I found the contact, and I found an email. Dude, I was on there for like 5 hours. Oh, I didn't sleep that night. And I just was like, motivated because what happened was all the zippers failed. Then I found the magnetic and I was like, oh my god, this mic can actually work if they can make it in the way I want it to be made. Then they said they could. Then they said no. And then they wouldn't give me who could. So I stayed up all night because I was fired up, and
I just found out like yesterday that patents are public record. I never knew that before.
Yeah. And patents, I mean, dude, people don't need to get wrapped up in patents too much, man. And people are going to knock it off no matter what anyways. You know what I mean? And then all these people with great ideas from the very beginning are like, I need to patent it before I launch. Dude, patents, depending on if it's a design patent or utility patent, can cost up to $5,000 to $15,000 over the course of a year.
Really?
So a lot of people just say, the heck with that, dude. Start selling. Get the revenue going.
Yeah.
Dude, this is a big world, man. There's 338 million people here. There's around 40 million people in Canada, and there's around 40 million people in Australia. Like, dude, what's the problem if there's competition? All I'm saying, I mean, you want to
just move faster than
just
them.
Keep moving. And, I mean, there's enough for everybody. You know what I mean? Unless there's like 100,000 competitors, then it gets saturated. But but to go back in, so I found his email, sent him the email, and I was like losing hope, man. I was like, I was at the end. Where I was like, I guess I'm quitting, because I had everything failed, and then I was told no, So this is where there's just something else out there. The guy responded within 30 minutes in Israel, and said, I can't remember exactly, but he said, "Let's talk. Yes to your questions. I'm excited to meet you." And I was like, holy crap, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm reborn.
It was like the life raft that you needed got thrown to you.
Yeah. So then he said, hey, I'll be in San Diego next week. And I was like, holy crap, you know what I mean? And next thing I'm in San Diego. We work it out. Long story short, from there, here we are. Multiple products coming out. So yeah, man, it's been a hell of a ride. So,
I love it, man.
Yeah.
If you could go back to the very beginning of starting Dry Pocket, like all the way back to 2016, having the wisdom and the knowledge that you have now, what are the shortcuts you would give yourself to success?
Well, if I knew the magnetics, I would have skipped the first 17 prototypes. You know what I mean? Because that cost a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Another thing I would have done is I wouldn't have hired that marketing agency from the beginning with the set that cost $17,000, and that was ad spend too. That wasn't like their fees. That was a mix of everything. But it was like they just weren't. Listen, man, every other person's a marketer now. You know what I'm saying? Just like every other person's a real estate agent now. It's like, listen, dude, just because you took a course doesn't mean you know what you're doing. And just because you can create an ad and read the click rates and stuff doesn't mean you know what you're doing, man. If you can't build a true strategy on why this would go here or what we need to do to make this go there, you know what I mean? Then you're not really in it. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, man. You got to learn, right? So I'm not knocking startups. I mean, I'm a startup, but I'm just saying startups don't need to work with startups.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then also, like I live by this, man. Do it yourself. Figure it out yourself. Don't throw 17 grand, 10 grand, 5 grand out the window when you can spend 3 hours on YouTube. The education's there. You don't have to go to college for this. You don't have to spend money for this. YouTube's free. I learned how to build a website from YouTube. I learned how to build ads from YouTube. I learned how to outsource products from YouTube. I learned how to speak to retailers and all of this with the right terminology from YouTube. I've literally built Dry Pocket on YouTube. If it weren't for YouTube, Dry Pocket wouldn't exist. And I know, tying back into what we were saying about the expenses up front, like once again, every situation's different. If you have the capital and you have an expert, well then yeah, maybe that'll skyrocket you faster. But if you're a true startup company, you don't have a ton of capital, but you got passion, learn it yourself. You're also learning a skill, man. You can reuse that. Now I know what to do, so I can fact check my actual expert. You know what I'm saying? And question them and put them in a corner just to make sure they really are an expert.
Or if you had some product that actually didn't work out, like you get to the very end and it hadn't worked out, at least you've learned that skill that you can take to the next opportunity. And maybe the next opportunity is the one where if you match it with your skill that you learned, it takes off.
Dude, technically I can start up a marketing agency right now. I know how to run ads. I know how to do it all. I just now that retail came on, I just don't have the time. But I know how to do it. And I'm not an expert.
You know whether it's working or not.
Yeah, but I'm not an expert. But my point is I've known enough to where I could technically be like, Brian Collins Marketing Agency, I'm now accepting clients for online, Facebook, Google, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So, and it's just like I said, I'm not knocking everybody who starts this. I mean, that's a journey that you want to pursue. I'm happy for you. I wish you the best. I just don't like working with startups when I'm a startup. You know what I'm saying? Because two unknowledgeable people aren't going to elevate each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Now, I have knowledge through my own hard work and dedication on learning myself, but I'm not the expert. But I had enough to get me this far. You know what I'm saying? Now, I just don't have the time because we do retail. So I need someone like Varnes Media and the gentleman. So they brought in like another company through Varnes Media. And you talk to Andy all the time. Yeah. And they seem to be knowledgeable, but they're under a microscope, especially since I had to correct something right away from the very beginning. I was like, nothing against them. They may be, dude, for all I know, they may make me $8 million. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But we just started. So time will tell. But they will not be around all year long if they're not doing the things that I think that need to be done or the things that Andy needs to be done. Exactly. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is all my costs that go out are now under a microscope because of what happened my first year. Yeah. I just was told that this is what I need to do. So I was like, okay.
You believe it,
it's like, okay, that's what I need to do to get rich. You know, like, and it didn't work out, you know. So I taught myself what to do and the same thing they were doing.
I love it, man. Any closing thoughts?
Go to drypocketapparel.com. Buy a waterproof pocket bathing suit, test it up to 100 feet. Dry bag, seals air, water, gas tight in under a second, or a floating cooler that also has a double lock automatic seal. Drypocketapparel.com.
That delivery was airtight too.
Yeah, I do this all day, every day. Oh, and here's this. The word fisherman, all capital letters. I don't know if I'm supposed to be looking at them.
Oh, yeah, this one.
Okay, yeah. The word fisherman, all capital letters. There's a 10% off promo code. So jump on the site. Once you go through checkout, there's a box there. Type it in. It'll calculate it and proceed. And I'll make sure all the links are in the show notes in the description of the podcast or YouTube video. Thanks for watching. Yeah. And that's a podcast. Much love, y'all.